All right, you guys. So today's episode is going to be on honesty. And if we venture out of honesty, just go with it because this is going to get deep. I know it is because we've been waiting for this first episode and we would definitely like you guys' feedback. So comment down below what you feel on this topic and any other things that we discussed in this episode. So let's get into it.
So how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been a little bit under the weather, but as of today, I'm better. I'm good. So I think that today's episode is definitely going to help me let loose of the rest of the things that I've been battling personally.
Got you. So when it comes to honesty and someone being truthful, what do that mean to you?
When it comes to someone being honest and truthful, to me that means a lot because, like, come on, we're adults, or even as a kid, because like I said earlier off the episode, of course, in our real lives, I had this conversation with my son on being truthful. Although he's only 5, you can never start them too early. Like, if you tell one lie, you're gonna have to tell a million other lies just to cover that up, especially if it's something major. So being honest is something that I live by. Like, I'm not gonna tell you a lie especially if it's something that I feel like you should know. So I just wish that everyone else would do the same, but of course you're not gonna get that all the time, and I understand that this is not a perfect world.
So do you feel like close relatives and close friends should be honest with you all the time, no matter what?
Well, I mean, if you're close, like,
obviously,
that's self-explanatory. Like, if you're close to someone, whether that's your family or a friend, you would expect them to. Although, of course, I know you probably have as well experience where you've been close with someone and they've been dishonest, or
I think we all have. I think everybody have experienced that at least once in life.
I feel like that's just a part of life.
Right.
Like, why I couldn't tell you to save my life, but like friends and family, that's coming to have. Why I couldn't answer that, but me as a friend, I'd rather have that conversation with my friend straight up if it's something that I feel I need to tell them, hey, X, Y, and Z, or a family member even. This is what's happening. I know this may be hurtful or X, Y, and Z, but I have to tell you this because on my conscience, to continue to keep that in my mind, like, it literally claws at me. So me as a person, I can't do it. That's just who I am. So
how does that like affect you, far as of a person that's been close to someone?
I mean, of course, I'm gonna feel some type of way about it. I may not talk to them about it directly because I don't know how that may make them feel, and I know that may sound contradicting, but it's not, because I'm not being dishonest about something. I'm just allowing them time to at least say, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell her this. But if they never do, then hey, I know how to handle the situation, which that is either taking myself completely out of the equation or just minding my business, because clearly we're not as close as I assumed. So it is what it is. But how do you feel about that?
How I feel about honesty and someone being truthful to me, man, I feel a lot of ways about that. But I feel like, a person being honest with you and truthful with you, through whatever, no matter what, I feel like that's just that's like the best relationship to have with a relative or a friend, But someone that's feel like they have to be like closed in and not honest and truthful to me, I feel that, what it is to hide. So, like when it comes to that point, it's like,
I get
like, is it like, more of like, you don't want me to see this part of you, or,
I get it, but I mean, if we're talking specifically on friends and family, if that's someone that you're close to, you should have already saw those sides. So, but I mean, people are good at hiding things or
Right.
having this facade. So, and we've had these conversations. So, I know you get what I'm saying, but to the people, the audience, like, I know that I'm not the only one in the world that feels this way when I say that no matter who a person is, unless they're with you 24/7, you do not know that person in every aspect that you can think of. Like, you don't.
Right.
You don't. You just don't. Like,
Yeah.
you can see one side of them and that be the side that they always show to you. But behind closed doors is something completely different. Or, for example, I'll just use this as an example. I've experienced it to some extent, but I'll just say a friend. You have one, you have this group of friends, right? I'm gonna say it's like 5 friends. This is
Right.
just an example. No one in general. So please don't take this to heart, please. But out of the 5 friends, you have, that's an odd number, but out of those friends, at least 3 of them are super close. The 3 that are super close, they're always together and like doing things that you don't do as the 4th or 5th friend out of that group. So when you're together as a whole, the other 2 friends, they're feeling awkward because the other 3 are like this.
Right.
You don't know what they're doing behind closed doors, or you don't know how they are as a person, because although you're friends, they're closer than you are. So when certain things are coming out, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. And you're like, where did that come from? Because you don't know that person. You're not with them 24/7. Even it could be out of the 3 friends that they don't even really know each other. They only have this image to each other. So
right.
That's just an example, but there's thousands of other examples I could use. But I believe you guys, you know where I'm going with this. But yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like when someone can't be honest or truthful, I feel like they just trying to hide something that they don't want you to see. But the question is why?
But that doesn't matter though, because like, and I say that doesn't matter because like for me, as the person I am, like if someone wants to be dishonest or goes through loops and hoops to keep something away from you, then okay, that's just their business, and I'm just gonna mind mine.
Yeah.
So like, it is what it is when it comes to that. So when it comes to honesty, like if it's something in debt that relates to you, that person, then sure, share it. Why not? If you're hiding something that you've done to one another, then that needs to be, whatever. X. Right. So like, yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like some people do it like, okay, this is me saying it in my own way of how I think it out. Some people I feel like be secretly in competition with you sometimes, and you may not think that way because this my friend or this my relative. They won't do such a thing. They won't hide this from me, or they'll be honest with me. But I feel like sometimes it's because, let's be honest, sometimes you have close friends, relatives who are in competition with you, and you may be the one that don't know why. So that's how I take it sometimes, like,
I mean, it could be.
It could be for many reasons.
It could be, but at the same token, like at the end of the day, like if someone is going that depth and measures to do something like that, and you're close, or a family or a close friend, then you shouldn't be friends with them. Of course, as a family member, you can't say, oh, this isn't my family member anymore. With that, you just have to know how to play those cards, which is either keep your distance and mind your business, or have that conversation, which is a conversation that may be uncomfortable but needs to be had. So
and nowadays many people like overlook that. Like when it comes to the point to where you have a close friend or a close relative that's just being dishonest, I feel like you should just like fade away a little bit. But let's get off of that right quick. I have something to add on to this that you talk about a lot. with me actually. How do you feel about someone that you close to that always check in on you, but when you check in on them, it's kind of like a dead end?
Over the past few years, I've actually had that to happen. So, and this is no shade because the person may watch this and feel some type of way, but
Well, let's not go into
I'm not going to go into details
yeah,
at all, but I feel like, and I'm just saying this because I haven't had the conversation and I haven't had the chance to even have the conversation. But when someone is always asking you questions, but you can't ask them questions, or the conversation goes at, hey, how are you? Such and such, da da da. You telling them X, Y, and Z, but they're like straight to the point or like very dull when they're responding when you're asking them in reverse, then
it's kind of like a
what are we? This isn't a casual conversation that I'm having with a coworker that doesn't know me from a can of paint. So like when I'm having this conversation with someone that I feel like I'm close to and have been close to for a very long time, that's is really hurtful. And I mean, in the moment right now, I'm okay with it, but I questioned myself a lot on that. Like, what did I do wrong during that time? Was it wasn't because I'm like I said, I'm an honest person, and me and my husband are two transparent people. So
well, definitely.
and you'll learn that as we continue to go, or if you know us personally, like if you're there in the moment of anything that's going on, whether that's good or bad, you're gonna see it. We don't care. We're not gonna hide it at all because we're not embarrassed about anything that we've gone through or going through, because it's a part of life.
Right.
But back to the honesty part about that, when those conversations are going on, being that you pinpointed, that's when I can be honest and tell you this much of whatever, because I know that one, you've already saw it, and two, you're checking on me to see where I've gotten on this situation. But in return, I've heard the grapevine X, Y, and Z, and I'm asking you, how are you? Or what's changed with you? And you're just, oh, nothing, such and such, just dry. Like, we're not friends. That's not a friend.
Right.
That's not a friend. I don't know what we are, but I'm not trying to stick around and find out. It is what it is. But when it comes to that, I feel like that person is just not there. We're not there.
Gotcha.
They're not honest with themselves or me. So with that, that's just a dead end.
Right. So do you feel like, can it be a comeback, or is it no coming back?
I'm not gonna say that because I'm an open person. I'm open to any conversation, and I know that to me that's a gift and a curse, because sometimes, as you saw for yourself, and I know you get on me a lot about this, because I'm genuinely willing to listen to anyone who's crossed me in a way that is no coming back from.
Right.
Just because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you, on the other hand, you're like, okay, whatever, like, in a sense. But I mean, if that conversation comes about, then it does. But I'm not going to go and search for it or try and reach out, because I've done enough of that, and
I mean,
it is what it is.
Personally, I feel like the relationship wouldn't be the same, whether it's blood related or not, or just a friend. I mean, because that's a big, important part. That's a big role.
You would have to build trust. You would have to build trust back from something like that. I don't know. You guys comment down below, because I'm very interested to know. And I know that I see strolling on any social media platform, you run across things like that of friendships or even family members or close relatives that are close that run into issues like this, and they always talk about how hard it was during the time of the event. So I don't know, like, as someone who's not my family and just a friend, I'm willing to hear that. I'm willing to talk, but
I feel like that's fair.
But otherwise, reaching out, I'm not doing that. I've done enough of that, and you guys can let me know if that's something that you guys would do or wouldn't do, or would you just say, hey, whatever.
I guess, how I look at it, I would hear that person out, but why hide so much from me? And I've been straight up and forward with you from the jump. You can't give everybody honesty. You have to protect yourself as well. Everybody not your friend out here, So it's but like you said, I'll hear them out. That's probably the most I'll do.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can do. Like, and wherever it goes, it goes. Like, I'm not gonna be defensive or say, "Hey, I was in the wrong." I would admit if the person was to say, "Hey, I felt this type of way," or "You were doing this and I felt some type of way about that," I can admit to something that I didn't notice myself,
Right.
because again, I'm not perfect, and
Gotcha.
and neither are they. But like, it is what it is. If, again, as two adults, if we can have that conversation and lay out the things that was not something that should have been going on throughout the friendship, then I can admit to that if we both can agree on that. But otherwise, that's just something. But moving along.
Yeah. So, we're not gonna hold y'all too long. We know this probably not one of the most latest topics, y'all probably was expecting.
We have a lot that we plan to do. This is the first episode. We wanted to go ahead and get that out, but I got sick and it just was a whole bunch of whatever. But moving forward, we will try to stay on track with these episodes. We look forward to hearing you guys' feedbacks and bringing you guys more content, because I know that people may say, well, hey, it's a lot of podcasts out there, and it is. And to me, as someone who listens to a lot of podcasts, I'll share some of those if you guys are interested in the ones that I listen to. But this is very healing for some people. Like, I know a lot of people don't care to go to therapy, but as someone who has done both, did the therapy and listen to the podcast, or even self-heal, I get it. So these podcasts, whether it's one that you can relate to, someone else can, and it's something that's soothing for them to listen to others on how they feel about different topics. So it's something that we've been looking forward to doing for the longest. So I hope that we've at least helped someone here today, or gave them a peace of mind to just know the simplicity of the topic that we've discussed today. It wasn't too in depth because we didn't want to go too long on this episode, but we really have a lot planned. The next episode will be better, hopefully a little bit longer, in depth. But let us know below what you guys would like to see. But stay tuned. Comment down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. And Jimmy, do you have something to say?
Yeah. So, if you can, it's a slight favor. Try to, if you can repost this. If y'all can do that for us, that'll be highly appreciated. Like she said, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. Yeah, and we're gonna have a lot more coming. We're gonna do lives very soon.
We also will be having some giveaways eventually. This is not directly related to this, but we had a business venture.
We'll chat with y'all with that soon, by the way.
Yeah,
just get them.
We'll go into details later about that, but yeah, we'll be doing giveaways as well. Not directly related to the podcast, but just stay tuned, you guys. We have a lot in store, a lot of things planned. But we thank you guys so much for even tuning in. If you've made it this far to the video, thank you so much for watching, and see you in episode 2.